All right, folks, back for episode number 3. And today we are getting into stories. We're going to get into stories. And stories, another word for stories, is really the things that we tell ourselves every single day, the thoughts we have, right? The things that pop up in our head. And we're specifically going to be focusing on the negative today, right? The negative stories that we have, the negative self-talk. If you are having positive self-talk, we will get into a whole episode around how to continue to make that flourish and make that go. And we want to get anybody that's stuck in this negative cycle of self-talk, help you get out of it today. Sound good?
Sounds good to me.
Here we go.
Okay.
So when we think about why this is so important, let's think about why this is so important. Really, when you wake up in the morning, let's all wake up, right? We wake up in the morning, and the first thing that happens is we open our eyes. And then for many of us, the thoughts hit, the stories hit, life comes back, right? And it starts going into, you don't have the time, you don't have the money, you don't have this or that, you are this, you are that, whatever the story is. Right. Do you find that you have any ones that pop up for you when you wake up in the morning, Andrew?
You're so funny. I was going to ask you first. Actually, I'm going to be completely honest here. There are some days that I say, ugh. And I learned that Mel Robbins has this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 practice that she does. And I teach my girls, my members, they do this for our 6 o'clock class. There are days that I have to say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and sit up in my bed for the day. There are certainly days like that. And some days I wallow in the and I find that if I immediately go to be grateful, be grateful, be grateful 3 times, it completely changes it for me. But it's taken me a while to get there. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I think you brought up so many great points there. And I like the words. So your mind goes into, there's 2 ways your mind can go: the what if negative or the what if positive, right? So if you get into the what if negative, what if this happens? What if I blah, blah, blah? What if I don't blah, 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 right? Or you get into the what if positive. What if I do get out of bed? What if I do go and exercise? What if I feel really good after that? What if so we're going into the positive piece that shifts that. I also have a method that I was going to actually share a little bit later that ties in Mel Robbins' 5-second rule that actually helps people shift from it's a brain-based method to break habits and to shift stories that we have around ourselves. And I've taken some of all of the people I've learned from to build on that. And we all have these folks. Like, I don't care who you are. I don't care who's listening right now, because we are all dealing with this. Andrew's dealing with this. I'm dealing with this. We're all dealing with this. And it really hits. I actually love the morning time. I know there's a lot of people that don't. It's the one time in the day for me, mostly, that it's quiet. That's why I wake up, to get out of my thoughts, to start the day in a way that keeps stacking those wins. So I go in and I start journaling right away. I start journaling. And the first thing that I tell anyone to do when they're trying to shift their stories, the things they tell themselves every day, or the things their mind tells them, it's not you. Your thoughts are not you. The first thing is capture your stories. Capture them. We don't really think about the fact that our mind is just sending us the same crap all the time. We have I think the stat was like, we have 70,000 thoughts in a day, and 90% of them are the exact same thing. from the day before and the day before that and the day before that. So it's
Sure.
it's nothing new. It's nothing new. So we need to capture this crap so that we can change it. If we don't know what it is, we don't know what our constant story is. My ever since I was young is you're not good enough. It's always been the story. So my saboteurs created this defense mechanism to help me. It's called the hyperachiever. It's like if you do more and you make more happen and you build this life, then you'll be successful. Then you'll be enough.
Sure. Sure. So it's tricky, right? It's disguised.
100%.
Yes.
Because people look at it and they're like, you're successful. You
Oh,
have a
so
lot going on for yourself.
yes. He's so ambitious and
He's
smart.
so ambitious, right? and I know when I was running my gym, I was falling apart on the inside. Like I was holding on because I'd really destroyed my gut health. Was teaching full time, trying to run the gym, trying to build this quote unquote perfect dream life, right? Having my dream career. I had just had a child. I have an amazing wife. I have all of these things that people look in from the outside. Wow, that's great. And in my mind, there was turmoil. And I think there's a lot of people walking around silently suffering because of their stories.
Sure. So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Hyperachiever. We know that our brain believes whatever we tell it. So you have to be really careful with that. Sidebar.
Yep.
Okay. So you're a hyperachiever. The subconscious is the thinking of, I'm not enough. I have to do more, be more. So how does that feel, living in a life where you have to do more, be more? What does that feel like?
It's exhausting.
Mm.
It's exhausting, folks. I burnt out so your adrenal glands, when your mind is thinking about stressful things, quote unquote, and I wasn't even thinking I was stressed. That's the interesting thing. My brain wasn't like, you're stressed. It was go, go, go. You got to do more. You got to do more. You got to do more. And my body, my brain wasn't telling me you're stressed. My body gave me sinus infections.
Sure.
It was saying, slow down. So it was this feeling of I'm anxious when I'm not doing more. I'm anxious if I'm not achieving. I'm anxious if it's my other saboteur is the restless. And it's like, you have to jump from thing to thing and you have to do more and you have to do all these different things. It's this, we heard someone say it this way, the shitty committee in our head.
Yes.
Right. And it's this whole committee of the judge and these other saboteurs and these messages that they're sending us. And it wasn't until I really, really, really started to work on my mental fitness and really started to do rapid transformation therapy with other practitioners who were helping me, because I'm doing rapid transformation therapy with others. So I needed it for myself. And that's really where I feel like my main focus over the past 10 years has really been helping moms put their oxygen mask on first. Because I got a small little taste, like have full-time job, then running a fitness facility, having a new child. I was like, this is what moms do every day. They literally working full-time, doing all of these things in the house, and then they're being a parent is a full-time thing as well. And the roles haven't really, unfortunately, that society, I don't think, has caught up, in my personal opinion. I don't think it's caught up to the point at which there's generational belief systems that are still in play around what what the women should be doing, what the moms should be doing. Right. And it's this conversation has to be started. And I talk to thousands of women a year, and I hear this all the time. I talk to all these moms. I hear this all the time. The expectation is so high. So what does that do to the stories?
So, and again, that expectation comes from, we're getting it. And I say we, because I'm that woman that you're talking about. So that, and it's interesting because we've got a man and a woman. We're both working with the same group of people. You know, our demographic is the same. We're working with busy moms, trying to do it all. And it is being passed down generationally. But then when you try to go out there and change that, now you have media and society. So it's coming at you from these expectations from all levels, children, right?
It's all all coming underlying, right? It's all this subconscious stuff.
Yes. Right. And so, you know, the other thing in dealing with, helping women get through this and around this, and just the awareness for them for self-care and investing in themselves. It's not new. Many people are doing it, but I think what we have that's a little bit different is we're actually working with their brain to shift those pathways of thinking so that they can actually get somewhere with it.
Because it starts there. Like, you can have the best plan. You can have the best exercise plan. You can have the best nutrition plan. You can have the best business plan. You can have the best plan in anything. There's tons of plans out there, folks. And the thing is that unless you align your mind with the plan that you've designed, it will not stick. I'm going to say it again. Unless you align your mind with the plan you've designed, it will not stick. It has, and it all starts with the stories. So I want you to think about this, right? You're waking up, you have these stories. The stories and the thoughts are creating your feelings and emotions. So you have a thought, you have a story that pops up. It creates a feeling, it creates an emotion. And then that ultimately is creating this frequency and vibration that you're putting out there. It also is setting off what I call the habit alarm. So it's starting to trigger, okay, I have this thought, I have this feeling, and then I either do or don't do the actions in this next phase. I do or don't do my commitments in this next phase. So it's the doing of the habit or not doing the habit, right?
So what does that sound like? Let's talk about what that sounds like, because it sounds different for people. I know, like for myself, this is classic me. I am definitely I'm the girl in the background. I'm definitely always have been the girl in the background. And even when I was married.
Is that a story?
This is a story.
I think we captured a story. Here we go.
Yeah. But my point being, when you're in the background and you're trying, many women are that woman in the background. They're trying to make it all happen. Totally. And they're even whether you're working or not working, a stay-at-home mom, a working mom, still, it's the same. The common thread there is they're trying to make it all happen behind the scenes. For me,
so call your mom, folks. Call your mom and tell them how amazing they are. Tell them how much you love them.
So when I would come up against something where the script would run in my head, for me, for sure, it is, oh, you know what? That's not my strong suit. I need to stick to what I know. Even though I know I could do it. No, it's not my strong suit. So it's not my best work.
I think that was the story you said when I said, hey, do you want to do this podcast with me?
And I thought of that. I thought, oh, really? However, had I not done that, the ripple effect of that, we can talk about later, is ridiculous. The things that have happened since we started this podcast in my business and even in my four walls here.
The thought now is I can do this. The
Mhm.
feeling is I feel good. The action is we show up each week, we make it happen.
Right.
And then it creates new results, because the other way is creating a different result. And then that result is actually feeding back into our identity subconsciously, who we are at a core level, right? Our beliefs, our values, our
Sure.
habits, all of those things. And then of course that feeds back into what's the thought, where the thoughts come from. The thoughts are coming from that. So it's really a cycle.
Mhm.
So, for me, the hyperachiever has always been, how much can I get accomplished today? That's the thought. And then I recently switched that, because that thought was like, the feeling was anxious. The feeling was overwhelmed. The feeling was, I can do this, but it's going to be a lot, right? Tired is a great word. Exhausted is actually a better word.
Yes.
So I was waking up exhausted already. So the feeling is exhaustion. So of course the actions are slower. They get done, but I'm doing it at like 50%.
Sure. And at the end of the day,
Ugh.
are you still exhausted, or do you feel like you accomplished something?
That's where I had to get intentional. So it's interesting,
Mm.
because when I started getting clear and getting peaceful in the morning, and then the feelings were different, and then I approached my day. So one thing I started doing, folks, I do not look at my phone for an hour when I wake up, because then I am proactive rather than reactive. So what happens there, when you look at your phone, you start seeing texts, you start seeing messages, you start seeing emails, you start seeing all these things. You get stuck in the familiar past, and it creates a predictable future. So what I had to do is I had to make this peaceful space where it's just me, and I'm going inside, and I'm going to get into a place where I can create more intentionally. And then my actions have become so much better and more
Sure.
intentional. And then of course the results are better. And then it feeds back into, I can do this. I am enough. And it's 100% possible.
Okay, so I'm wondering how many people listening just said in their brain, oh my God, I could never do that. Oh my God. Like
Yep.
maybe in another life, I wake up and I have to blah, blah, blah. So they've already gotten into that story, because I'm going to be honest. I actually thought that when you said that.
That was my story. That was my story for so long. I could never, I always had the story that, because the hyperachiever was running the show for 38 years, right? And
Sure.
so it was go, 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 react, react, react.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I can't not do this. There is no other way. And
Mm-hmm.
these are all the stories. And the stories are creating your reality, folks. They are creating the world, the things that you have, the life that you have. It's all starting with the stories.
So for someone like me that thought that, it's a little different, because I wake up and I'm working the minute my feet hit the floor. That's just my business. So maybe something that a mom or dad could do, if they also are in that position where they actually have work commitments and they have to check and make sure they have to be somewhere. So maybe you're going to be getting in your car and you have a commute. Maybe you turn the radio off. Maybe you take that space as your quiet time.
Yep.
And there's always a way, just like there's always an excuse.
I started with 2 minutes. I'll tell everyone I started with 2 minutes. That was it. That was about the max that I could have. I've worked my way up a lot. And of course, if you haven't listened to episode 1, it's all about comparison and judgment. so it like, don't compare yourself to us or anybody else.
Yes.
Just look at what you, like we said, capture the stories, and then I started with 2 minutes. It was 2 minutes in the morning of just being.
So you hit the pause button
Hit the pause button.
and you were just breathing, being Matt.
Exactly. And then I started to actually do like breathing exercises. That was the second thing that I got into in the morning, just to oxygenate my body. And I actually did them while lying in bed because I was so tired and I was having trouble getting out of bed. So, and we'll do a whole episode on breathing and stuff like that. And sometimes we just have to take conscious breaths. So I found that I could do 2 minutes, and I started doing 2 minutes throughout my day. 2 minutes here, 2 minutes there, 2 minutes there. My favorite 2 minutes was when I pull up. This was game changer. When I pull up to pick up my kids at the end of the day, and I pull up into the driveway and I close my eyes and I take a deep breath in and I hold for 5 seconds, and then I take a deep breath out and I say one word. I say the word release. And I would do this like about 5 times, 10 times in 2 minutes. And then I would say, how do I need to show up when I go? This was the new story I was creating. How do I need to show up for my kids when I go in there? Because I found that I was going in and trying to fix stuff and change things and blah, blah. I just started showing up more as the fun dad, more as the I love you guys. And just for those that are listening that don't know me that well, I have 2 little boys. I have a 4-year-old and an 8-year-old right now. So when I go and get them, I want their first impression of me to be happy. That's the thing that I want to leave them with. So by just taking that 2 minutes, the 2 minutes that I didn't think I could do, the story around not having that 2 minutes, just that taking that 2 minutes is everything. Now, do I get it every single time? No, I don't. And we're going to, of course, not judge ourselves around not being able to do it every time. And it's made a huge difference.
So when you're driving to go get your kids, like so many of us, and you're on the phone, maybe making doctor's appointments or catching up with voicemails that have stacked up in your inbox, maybe make a conscious choice to not be on your phone for 10 minutes before you pull up to get your kids at school. Or really, before you are on your way home, don't walk in the house on your phone. So just take a few minutes, even if it's your house, you're walking into your house and your kids, my kids are older. My kids are, 21 and 17. So it's a little bit different there. I still want them to see me happy. And for me, I have to make sure that my phone is not in my hand. I'm making eye contact. I'm not asking the same questions that I ask every day.
How'd
you
day?
Sleep? How'd you sleep? How'd you sleep? I slept. Yeah. How's your day? So it's really, being present, not just for them, but for you, because you'd be amazed at how much you receive yourself when you are present there with them, and they can really feel that. The floodgates open. And I know so many parents with teenagers, you'll get there, Matt, they don't talk to me anymore, when you wish they would stop talking, and then suddenly they do.
Yep.
You just have to be present on a consistent basis, because their brains are just like ours. They believe what they see and what they hear. So they have to see us acting differently, responding differently, before they'll actually let down a little bit, it's amazing to watch that happen with my older son in particular, since we've been doing the mental fitness and I've been bringing it into my home. It has changed everything with my boys. It's unbelievable. So yeah, being awesome. Present.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love how it's done in a different way, because we're working through very different age populations, right? And it's still presence, right? It's still being in that moment with them, being with them, and just being. And I had to start to implement a rule for myself, like at night when I get home between the hours of 6 and 8, like the phone goes, it's got to be away, because being present with them, they're picking up on all of this.
Mhm.
I think I'm very aware of it after doing rapid transformation therapy for so many people and seeing how they perceived certain situations and scenarios when they were children. You know, I don't want my kids to ever perceive that they're not the most important thing, because I want them to know that they are absolutely enough and
Mhm.
that they are extremely important to us.
Right.
And every
Right.
time
Because,
we are sucked into the other things, there's a chance of them not feeling that way.
and how your negative self-talk that I'm not enough, that also gets passed down. That is a ripple effect. It gets
Totally.
passed down to your kids. They see it, they hear it. Sometimes, oh my gosh, we both work with women who are trying to release weight in all ways, guys. We're not just talking. When we work with women, we're in it with them in all aspects of their lives. And how many of us have made a comment in front of our kids, in front of our spouse, in front of our friends? Oh my God, I'm so fat. Oh my God, I just need to lose this. Oh my God, my hair's a mess. Oh my God, this. Oh my. And your kids are hearing this.
All the time.
So that negative self-talk, if you take away one thing today, that negative self-talk, especially when it's outward, is being absorbed by the people around you and how it might affect them. And it's not serving you. Like negative self-talk is just not positive.
Yeah. And it's toxic, especially when
Mhm.
it starts inward and then it
Mm,
comes out, right?
mm,
And that's really where capturing it is key.
mhm.
Because when you can capture it, then you can start to change it. So I actually use the notes section in my phone, and I have all of mine. Like I get them all. And then once I get them down, then I can change them.
So that's not a hyperachiever thing, is it?
Isn't that interesting?
It
Right.
totally
It was
is.
like, I'm going to hyperachieve these negative thoughts out of my life.
Oh my God. And I am so the other end of the spectrum. I'm the pleaser. I, I like to avoid things here and there, but I have no problem calling myself out on shit. I'll be like,
Mm,
knock it off.
yeah.
I don't put things in my phone. I am a paper girl. Knock it off.
Yeah. Stop it. One of my favorite YouTube videos is Bob Newhart, and it's called Stop It. Stop It.
Yeah.
And it's literally like sometimes we have to tell ourselves to stop it. I always call my negative self-talk out, like liar,
Mm,
liar, right?
right.
And it's this it's the what if negative, the what if positive. It's coming back to that. And yeah, I think really capturing it, folks,
Hmm.
and just being aware of what's coming out, because we never know what's actually coming out.
Hmm. If you could name your negative self-talk, what would its name be?
Ooh, so what I teach my clients, actually, this is what I taught them for years, even before mental fitness. I said, uh, you can name I called it the saboteur mind. That's just what I
Hmm.
called it, the sabotage mind. So when you name your sabotage mind, I always just said, you can use your middle name. It's just easy. So I called mine Paul for a very long time. Now
Oh,
I just know it has different names like Hyperachiever and all these things. So I'd say so this is what I teach people, folks. So thank you for sharing. So I say, Paul, thank you for sharing. And I do this out loud. This may sound a little crazy.
you
When you
do.
do it out, I do it out loud. And the reason I do it out loud is because when you do it in your head, your mind is so powerful, especially in the beginning, that it can talk you out of it. I remember when I was going through all my gut health issues, and I had massive sugar addiction. I was a closet sugar eater, like
Hmm.
very embarrassed about it. And I
Hmm.
remember all of a sudden waking, like almost like, have you ever driven somewhere and you're just like, you're there?
Yeah.
and
Because
you're
you're
like,
in
how did I get
hypnosis.
here? Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. I remember like waking up in this ice cream aisle in this grocery store, and I remember looking at the ice cream, and then I out loud said, I don't need this.
Oh my God.
And I scared myself, and I scared the people kind of near me, and I like booked it out of the aisle, and I got
Right.
back in the car. I went home, and I was like, oh my goodness, that was so powerful.
Right.
I pattern interrupt myself. I woke myself up, and it was so amazing how powerful that was. So amazing how powerful that was. So I do the Paul, thank you for sharing out loud, because it's a pattern interrupt. It wakes me up out of we're 95% of what we do every day, folks, is subconscious. And we'll
Yes.
do a whole episode on that. And it pattern interrupts that. Paul, thank you for sharing. And then I say the words, I will, whatever I'm going to do. Right. And for me, it's, I will take a break. Right. I will breathe. I will do whatever. And then it's the so that I can feel better, more energized. So I'm not a pile of garbage by the end of the day, whatever it is. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go take action. So I put Pamela Robbins on the end of that because it was really powerful. So it's the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 at the end of it all. So it went through like this. Paul, thank you for sharing. I will breathe more so that I can feel better and more energized by the end of the day. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Wow. That is so organized.
It's just it
It's
runs for me. It's just how it
sure.
runs.
And that brings me to my next point is everyone's brain
It's different.
functions so differently.
100%.
So I have to just say, stop it. And I immediately connect to the emotion of what is this going to cost me if I do or I don't do this? I stop myself. I ask myself, what am I really spending here? What's it going to cost me if I don't show up? What is the payoff if I do? What's it going to cost me if I eat this? Is my stomach going to feel crappy? And I think everybody has to kind of think about what's going to work for them. I wish, Matt, I love you. I wish that I could be as organized as you.
I had to do it that way. The reason I had to do it that way was because I feel like my negative self-talk was really bad. Like it was really bad. And I had to let it know, because your mind's trying to protect you. So I had to let it know, Paul, thank you for sharing. I'm going to go do this.
Sure.
This is why. Here we go. And it's what actually started launching me out of bed. It's what started getting me moving. It's what started getting me going. And some people won't do it out loud. You don't need to. It's what works for you.
Right.
Some of us just need to stop it.
Right. We just need to be aware of it.
Yeah.
We just need to take a deep breath. You do a really good job of explaining how to hit that pause button. Okay. So awareness, you hit the pause button, take a deep breath, and then start talking yourself. Matt talks to Paul.
Yep.
Which is awesome. And I have to think of a name for mine. I'm on a no name basis. I just go right for it. And
we can all call it the judge, because that's really what it is. The judge is just, it's popping up and trying to make you feel whatever way it's trying to make you feel, right?
Right.
To keep you quote unquote safe.
Right. And then you're switching the pathway to a positive. And I think if we can just try that once a day, it's a start.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. I had another person I was learning from. The technique was just putting a rubber band or a hair tie around your wrist, and every time your negative thought happened, you just snap it. Right. That was like the other thought. Like there was another thought process around it. There's so many ways to do this, folks. It's just picking one and doing it to start to shift those stories. So you got to capture them. So the takeaway today: capture your stories. Don't judge yourself on them. be discerning with them, right? And then, as Andrew said, stop it, right? Just move into this new way of thinking. I do the thank you for sharing, but it's letting your stories know that we're not going to do this anymore. And the more you train that, the more you command your mind, the more power you're going to have over your life. The better
Yes.
feelings you're going to have, the better actions you're going to have, the better results you're going to have. And it's going to feed back around into your identity, and it's going to change your life.
Mm-hmm. I
So
like it.
begin with your stories. Begin with your stories, folks. So that's our episode for today. If you got any nuggets, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear the takeaways. Please,
and you can like and share.
Yeah, like and share. If you're finding value in this and you think there's other people that would find value in this, we would love to continue to help you and anyone that you know. So you can send them sharing links from iTunes, Apple and Spotify and all those good ones. All right.
All right.
Have a great day, folks.